Well folks, I'm outside of Perry's at Aylesbury, MG Motor. Dan and Jacob kindly invited me across to have a look at the brand new MG4. This is really exciting stuff. It's got a new platform. There will be single and dual motor editions down the line. Can you imagine something the size of a Volkswagen Golf with over 400 horsepower? That's not far away. But in the meantime, these are the launch editions. We'll get in and we'll have a look around. I'm Ed and this is Easy Peasy. So lovely showroom. It's lovely and warm in here, and here we have it, the MG4 in pearl black. Obviously a slightly cost option, but you know what, looking well. However, the black does hide a little bit of the added features on this one. This is the trophy model with the dual spoiler at the back. The lights lighting up, and of course the trophy has these illuminated little cross-hatched lights here as well. So forgive the book, lots to get through on this one. In 2005, when MG Rover disappeared into oblivion, we kind of thought that the MG brand's name would be lost, but it celebrates 100 years in 2024, and they've got some really interesting stuff coming. A re-emergence of the MGC, that's going to be an electric-powered MX-5 rival. They're going to have a dual motor version of this MG4 on the way, being launched next year in 2023, and that is going to be a £35,000 or thereabouts, 400 plus brake horsepower, absolute supercar killer. That's on the way. These are 200 horsepower or 150 kilowatts or thereabouts in trophy guys. Gonna have a little look around and show you the ins and outs. So the MG4, basically two different models, SE and Trophy. This is a Trophy model with5 extras. The two battery ranges. What's really surprising on this car is the starting price. A fiver short of £26,000. For that, you're getting 218 miles WLTP. You have a choice of a long range version for an extra £2,500. What we do is upgrade that battery to 64 kilowatt hours. You get 281 mile range on that one. Basically two different trim levels, SE and Trophy. The Trophy edition is not available in the smaller battery. It's just available with the long range battery as well. Instead of 281 miles, obviously it's very fractionally heavier because of the extra equipment, and it reduces its range down to about 270 miles WLTP. So sacrificing about 10 miles range for the Trophy with its added aerodynamics, etc. So first of all, the SE is an amazing value car. It's got a 150 kilowatt motor, so it's about just over 200 horsepower. The smaller battery has got the smaller motor effectively in it. You don't sacrifice much. You're still talking about 170 horsepower in a car of this size. What they've done as well is they've kept the weight down. It's a staggering 1,655 kilos, and well, it's significantly lighter than a lot of its rivals. They're very proud of their 7 years and 80,000 miles transferable warranty here at MG, and it can only be rivaled by the likes of Kia, so peace of mind. So this car is based on the modular scalable platform. Modular because they can add components in, take components away. Scalable because they can extend it and reduce it. And a platform so you can hang your body onto it. Future models will be based on this platform as well. They're very proud of the fact that it's 50-50 weight distribution in the MG4. This is a rear-wheel drive only. single motor. The four-wheel drive dual motor is due out in a year or so. They can scale it to suit sports cars, hatchbacks, saloons, SUVs. It can also support 400 and 800 volt architecture. But the real clever bit is that they can change batteries. They have the capability to drop the battery out as per Neo. It future-proofs the car. As far as chemical composition is concerned, increasing the capacity as and when. Catel and SAIC formed a partnership in China, and they've teamed up with another company to start building battery change stations. The minute you do that, then you start introducing things like battery as a service, whereby you buy the car, you rent the battery, and you decide what capacity you need at any one time. You can decide on a whim and book it through the app to change capacities. Now, that future-proofs it. It also helps with warranty work and any time that you need to change the batteries. So it's a wonderful platform, and I think they've really they've ticked all the boxes that are absolutely necessary to make this car future-proof, along with over-the-air updates and updates of firmware through their app. This platform can sustain battery capacities between 40 kilowatt hours and 150 kilowatt hours. A lot of the long-range Teslas are in the 100 kilowatt hour region, so you can just wonder what sort of range you're going to get out of one of these cars when you stick a 150 kilowatt hour battery in it. You stick dual motors and 400 plus horsepower and a sub 4 second 0 to 60. MG are going to surprise us for their centenary in 2024 with the launch of the MG4 EV. And it's going to be an MX-5 rival, based on the same platform, two-door, two-seat, and it's a gorgeous looking thing. So let's get on to specifications. Probably easier for me to tell you what the differences are between the SE and the Trophy. There's a £3,000 difference. The highest spec car here, the Trophy, obviously with the long-range battery, £31,500 on the road in the UK. That is outstanding value. A 200 horsepower motor and all the bells and whistles with MG pilots and assistance on that. So then, all cars get these LED headlights. They get daylight running lights, they get LED rear lights. The Trophy also gets this rear center light. Apparently it looks really good as they hit the brake lights. Now, MG Motor are actually a UK company under Chinese ownership. And their whole design system is using angles reflective in the Union Jack, believe it or not. You'll start to see more of that as the MG4 EV becomes evident, and the angles and that. It's actually quite a pretty thing. Now, how it's going to look in the sun after 10 years, who knows with this sort of thing. But you know what, right now it's a very pretty thing. Once we're back, this is the Trophy version. I don't know if you can see this dual spoiler. It's really difficult to show on a black car because I'll try and get a shot of the other one in volcano orange. All cars get 17-inch alloys. However, as you can see, it's a plastic cover in here, covering up some pretty alloys. So all models get rear parking sensors, auto headlights. They get tinted glass, although in the Trophy you get rear privacy glass, a little bit darker. You get electrically adjustable mirrors, and of course in the Trophy version they're folding as well. On the SE they don't fold. Well, the SE model has cloth seats. The Trophy model that you see here has got this fake leather. Yeah, that's what I would call it. Some nice blue stitching though is quite nice on this particular car. All cars have climate control. We've got this 7-inch driver's display showing 60 miles, 25% on here, and there's a 10.25-inch driver display. Let's see, it's reasonably responsive. there's the navigation. Of course, navigation is only in the Trophy. We'll talk about the infotainment system in a little minute. The Trophy model has got 6 speakers with some 3D surround is what they call it. Obviously the park, reverse, neutral, press it for park, park for the car, and park for the handbrake. This is obviously the emergency brake as well. It needs to be a separate system in here. You've got 2 USBs in here. One is a regular one, USB-A, we've got USB-C, and we've got another one in the rear. Little place for your keys, so a couple of cup holders in there. We've got a little net thing here, and you see, really quite deep in there. We've got the armrest. It's not slidable, but obviously. So all vehicles have got DAB and radio. So let's talk about the MG iSmart app. It does lots of things like find your car if you happen to have lost it. It's got state of charge. It'll tell you when you're remotely charging your car so that you know when to go back to it and you won't incur any idle charges. It tells you the range currently available in your car, the time it's going to take to reach full charge. It will, you can set up your route in your phone and then synchronize it with the car. Now I suspect that's only in the Trophy model since that's the one with the satellite navigation. Now, all models support Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, so I would assume that that synchronization feature through the app is only applicable to the sat-nav in the Trophy model and not for using your mapping software on your phone. You can also preset the HVAC, the heating and cooling remotely, so that when you get out to your car, it'll be nice and toasty warm. And on that, it's got a heated steering wheel in the Trophy version. So all versions come fitted as standard with MG pilots, they call it. It's fairly comprehensive, to be honest. Even on the SE model, you're getting adaptive cruise control, so it will set the distance from the car in front. It has emergency braking. It can differentiate between people and bicycles. It's got lane departure and assist, so it will maintain you within the lane. It's got traffic jam assist, so as the car comes to a halt in the front and moves off again, it will maintain the distance behind that car. It's got speed assist, so using the sat-nav, if it notices that it's coming up to a bend, it should slow down a little bit and assist you around that, along with road sign recognition, both permanent and temporary signs, so it should adhere to the speed limits as well. It's got auto high beam and it's got a driver attention getter. The Trophy adds on top of that blind spot detection. It adds lane change assist, where it should change lanes at the activation of your indicators. It's got rear cross traffic alert and a door open warning. So if there's somebody coming down the inside and you open the door, hopefully it will yell at you. So safety wise, all have 2 ISOFIX seats in the back. You pull back the little Velcro strip here and plug your baby seat in there. No central armrest on this one. And one thing that was bugging me just a little bit is when you put, there you go, we've lost it, you see? When we put the seats down, there's nowhere to store. There's nowhere to store your things. They might rattle around a little bit, but in order to put the seats back up again, you've got to grab the seat belt and put it in. You know what? It would have been so easy to put a little retainer in somewhere here to stop the seat belts rattling around on those bumpy roads, because it's a kind of a hollow plastic and more in there. So that would that may well be one particular improvement. Right then, in here I've got flat top and bottom steering wheel. Seating position seems fine for now. We've got 6-way adjustables. Of course, they're electric in the Trophy. They're manual adjustments. You don't get any more adjustment on the Trophy than you do with the SE. However, it's electrical. I don't see a memory function in here, so it's just basically do it yourself. We've got, let me see, left and right mirror adjustments in here, and we've got the headlamp. So on the right stalk, we've got high-low, int and off. Yes, your intermittent setting on there. We've got the light stalk on the left with your indicators. Auto lights, auto light system on, auto light system active. Very good. And obviously the screen is changing between day and night. So in the back, nice and comfy. No sunroof on this one. No center armrest, but you do get a couple of places for your phones. You've got a pocket there for your iPad. You've got speakers down here. You've got your window controls. More faux leather, but comfy enough. I'm a short arse. Plenty of headroom for me, but I could see if you were much taller than about 6'2" or 6'3", you might struggle in here. So let's get into the boot. No auto, you've got to unlock it and lift it. There's your charging cables. Reasonable amount of room in here. There it is. Your pump and your foam and your towing. But what is interesting on this one, they talk about dual levels. Let's get the seat down, I can show you a bit more. So we can remove it from the top. There we go. Let's get into here and down. You know what? All in all, a fairly flat floor. Parcel shelf. Not sure where it goes. Whether it could be stowed underneath or not. What is interesting though is these bits fold at the side, and you can lower the floor beyond this level down to probably another 3 or 4 inches to create some extra space for those slightly taller items. We've taken out the parcel shelf itself. I was hoping that it was going to go underneath, but it's just a little bit too wide. But you know what? There is ample room in here, almost cavernous. I've been able to put the parcel shelf down in here, in behind the seats. That's going to sit nicely in there, but look at that. All the practicality you'll ever need from a hatchback. That's why they're so popular in the UK. So in essence, what does your $3,000 get you between the SE and the Trophy levels? The battery's the same, the performance is the same. You lose a little bit of range on the Trophy by about 10 miles or so, but still 270 miles WLTP is more than enough. Your 3K gets you the rear center LEDs, it gets you folding mirrors, rear privacy glass, the upper spoiler, the half fake leather with electric heating, the auto dimming mirror, a heated steering wheel, one-touch windows all round instead of just on the driver's side, 2 extra speakers with 3D surround, gives you the app as the key, it gives you live services, gives you sat-nav, extra MG pilot modes, blind spot detection, lane change assist, a rear cross traffic alert, and a door opening warning. It gives you a 360-degree camera. It gives you wireless charging, height adjustable loading floor. Depends if you really want all of that stuff or not. The MG is designed to be a kind of a budget entry into EVs, especially at this kind of price point. £3,000 doesn't sound like a lot if you're speccing a 911, but it's 10% of the cost of the car. Now, MG are very clever at these sorts of things. You cannot add really an awful lot of added accessories. So whilst this car has got vehicle to load, whilst you plug the cable into the charger, you can then boil a kettle, you can do whatever you want to do, blow dry your hair. However, in order to buy the receptacle for that. It's an additional 260 odd pounds for that one. You do get the charging cable as standard, however the vehicle to load adapter is an optional extra, as are little things like car mats, etc, etc. Now MG are very clever, they pre-build their cars. That means they can mass produce things. There is not too much in the way of a bespoke build. Model that you get is the model that you get. Now, whether you want all of those features or not, we cannot really bespoke build one of these cars. You cannot pick and choose like some of the other manufacturers. However, the lead time on this car right now in November 2022, we're looking at vehicles delivered in the UK in February. 16 weeks, folks, just 16 weeks. You try and do that at Volkswagen or Skoda. My Skoda VRS was looking closer to 12 months delivery. It also has effects on residuals. You'll find if you specify a car with individual options anywhere else that it is not reflected in the residual value when it comes to trade in your vehicle. Talking of residual values, your monthly leasing costs are vastly reduced on this car simply because the predicted residuals are so high. They're talking into the 60s, mid 60% after 3 years in sensible mileage. That all takes effect for your monthly payment. So as the residual's higher, if you can get a higher value for your car at the end of the guaranteed value, then it obviously reduces your payments. So what do I think overall of the MG4? Well, the proof of the pudding will be in the drives. Don't forget to subscribe. That'll be a future. They've invited me back on a less inclement day to take the car for a bit of a run. Proof of the pudding is in the driving, really. Right now, it seems an excellent proposition as an entry into EV ownership. It's got all the range you'll ever need. It's got 135 kilowatt charging in the longer range version. You sacrifice a little bit in the shorter range, but the charging times are about the same at about 35 minutes, 10 to 80%. It's got all the performance that you'll ever need, 200 odd horsepower, 150 kilowatts. The sweet spot for me, I think, is the SE long range. I'm not sure I need to spend on a budget vehicle the extra £3,000 in order to get the trophy spec. Heated seats would be nice, some added features, especially blind spot monitoring might be nice as well. But at the end of the day, it's not a deal breaker for me. So till the next time, hope you've enjoyed this little walk around and review. Hope to see you again for the test drive. All the best now. Bye-bye.